right. Dylan, BJ, Galaxia, thank you for coming all this way and joining us.
Yeah, thanks. No problem.
Man, super excited to have you guys here. Huge fan of the music, obviously. Try to make to all the shows I can of you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
You guys are incredible. You make radical freaking music, and I dig it.
We're okay.
Yeah.
You know, I would make some really bad joke about him, you know, being under the table after the show or something like that, but I have to agree with him.
No, and it makes you guys even that much cooler. You're so modest about it. But and please forgive me. I've got the coronavirus, so my voice is kind of going in and out.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, great.
I've always wanted
you guys
to be
all got it.
quarantined.
Right. Yeah.
I told him to stay away from that Mexican beer.
Yeah, that's your problem right there.
Do you remember that Ebola scare from like 2014?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, I think
God,
so.
that's crazy.
Wow.
Well, I was on a plane in Houston, and apparently at the Houston airport, there was some guy who yelled on the plane, not the plane I was on, who yelled, "I have Ebola," as a joke. And the plane was shut down for 8 hours. They had to bring a quarantine. Nobody could leave.
Christ.
Not even the pilots, anybody that worked for them. They had to bring in a quarantine crew 8 hours before they could get off the plane. And it was just a joke.
That's awful.
That's horrible.
Hey, you
I bet
can't make
that-
jokes like that anymore.
I bet that guy
Unfortunately.
got beat up.
I don't know. That was really funny.
It's, like I work for the United States Postal Service, and there's one time I went to work, and my supervisor heard a noise in a package, so she called in the authorities.
Oh,
They
no.
shut us down like that, like all day.
I bet.
Had the bomb squad in there. It was crazy. Roped off the whole area. It turned out that someone had shipped an iPad and it was turned on.
Ah,
Yeah,
I was going
it's
to say
like,
a
wow.
mouse, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
When did you get to full day of work pay?
Yeah, we were all clocked in. We just went down the street and like all ate breakfast together.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's good then.
And then we were there super late.
Ah,
Yeah, but
Team
that
building.
kind of sucked. But
Builds character, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Moments like that.
shenanigans.
Overtime. It's awful.
That's true.
Well, Retina is the EP that you guys just put out. What was
Yeah.
last summer?
Yeah, August time, late August.
Yeah. What do you got going on over there? It's like Space Invaders.
All right.
But yeah, just incredible music. So this is an EP. I know,
Yeah, it's-
or it's a
around-
full album, really.
It's we called it an EP, but
It's pretty freaking
it's
long.
close to.
Yeah, it's pretty much
Yeah.
full.
It's 30 minutes or something.
Okay.
So I don't know
Right.
what the cutoff line is, to be honest.
I
but
don't know.
it-
It
When it's
doesn't
done,
really
it's done.
matter.
yeah.
It's a lot of great music.
Thanks.
And then before that was what, Countdown to Extinction, or to Extinction?
Yeah,
Countdown to Discovery. We were
Yeah.
talking about Megadeth
Megadeth,
before we started
yeah.
recording here.
Yeah.
I just had it in my
Discovery.
head. Countdown
that,
to Discovery.
You know, fun fact, you didn't know Galaxia wrote Countdown to Extinction.
Yeah.
Dave stole it. You
Yeah.
heard it here first.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not the first famous musician to steal a riff from me though. Remember?
Oh, Jack White.
Jack White
Jack
stole a
White?
riff from me. Yeah.
Yeah, he ripped off Worlds on Our Back.
Yeah. But that's okay because I really love Jack White.
Yeah, it's a really good. It's
I
a
don't
it's a
care.
better version of our song.
Absolutely.
Right on. Well, I guess why don't you just kind of let us get inside your head for a second? How did Galaxia kind of start? What's the ideas behind Galaxia, and how did it kind of come about?
Well, it was kind of a 3 or 4 songs that we had, and then like Edge of Zephyr. Some people in Edge of Zephyr didn't want to play the songs, and we were just like, "Oh, well, let's just start another band."
Yeah, it's
I mean,
pretty much like that.
not it wasn't in a petty way. It was just like, "Oh, let's just start another band then."
Yeah, it didn't fit what Edge of Zephyr was doing at
Yeah,
the time.
exactly. It really
so,
didn't. So it made sense that they didn't want to do it, and then it just
Kinda-
escalated.
All right,
I guess you could say.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because William, our old drummer for Galaxia, and then also the old drummer for Edge of Zephyr, he was super into just strange stuff, and we wanted to make really weird stuff at the time. And a few of the songs that were on Countdown were the ones that I'm talking about that didn't fit the Edge of Zephyr style. So just kind of changed it.
All right.
Yeah.
And I know Edge of Zephyr. That is a very different sound, obviously.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, Edge of Zephyr seemed a little more almost 80s metal kind of
Yeah,
influence.
it was very 80s.
And they're
Yeah.
still playing though, aren't they? Are they still going on?
No, I don't think so. No,
They're not. Okay.
they might be trying to, but as far as I know, they don't. They haven't played any shows. They haven't found a bass player. I don't think.
Okay.
So I
So-
think they're still looking for a bass player and
Yeah.
maybe another guitar player.
Right on. Well, I wish them the best because
Yeah.
the other guitar player in that band, Brandon Beach, super cool guy, really great guitar
Yeah,
player.
he's a good player too.
They're all great musicians. It just, to me, it just wasn't going in a direction I wanted it to.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Right on.
same here.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can only go so far, and then you hit that fork in the road, and do you just keep going with the motion, or do you make that decision to put all your efforts into one project?
yeah,
That's kind of
exactly
the just the definition of creative differences, right? I guess
yeah,
people
pretty
always say
much.
it was creative differences,
yeah,
Yes.
but it's truth.
but yeah,
Yeah.
essentially the
Yeah.
truth.
it's nothing personal. I mean, it wasn't. They weren't doing what I wanted to do at the time. So
Right. No,
Right.
totally understandable and respectable.
Yeah, if we're gonna, this isn't because we were making some money in Edge of Zephyr, but if we're just gonna go out and play shows and not make any money, we'd rather just do it with the style we wanted to do.
exactly.
You know what I mean? We're just
Yeah.
gonna have fun. Just have fun.
Yeah.
And we made some money in Edge of Zephyr. I'm not saying that was the whole goal, but
Yeah.
It never hurts.
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely doesn't
Sure.
hurt. That's always fun to play original songs and make money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happens every now and then. one gig a year we'll get to do
Yeah.
it.
Very rarely.
It's a roll of the dice.
Maybe 2 gigs.
Well, now after being on this podcast, maybe a whole another 10 people will
Yes.
be streaming your music
Yes.
or buying
Worth
an
it.
album.
Buy it. Buy physical copies.
Worth
You might get some dollars.
The artist will make more money if you buy physical copies. So
That is true.
I like Bandcamp too because it's
I like YouTube.
straight to make it count.
I like YouTube. So
I like YouTube.
I
too.
always suggest it to go just listen to it on YouTube.
Dylan and I are really bad salesmen, to be
We're-
honest.
we're
yeah,
terrible.
well, yeah, it happens.
I've given
Probably the
away
worst.
too much free material for any band I've been in just because I was like, I'm not famous. You could just have it for free. It's hard for me to want to sell something that I don't think is worth someone buying. Not that it's bad, but
I think
I do it for fun, so I can't justify making somebody pay their money that they've
with all-
earned for it.
With all the work that you guys put into it, it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Well, yeah, it is definitely worth it, and I think the thing that that I run into is I would rather give it away to get it into somebody's hands
That they would actually listen to, yeah.
than
Exactly.
Than forcing
the-
somebody to buy it that wouldn't even listen to it.
right. Well, or they're not going to buy it, so
And they'll never
Or
hear
that.
it.
so they're not going to listen to it.
That too.
I that and that's probably the definition of the artist struggle right there.
Yeah.
I mean, we devalue ourselves more than I think society does.
And it's weird with the ease to which that you can stream everything on all these different platforms. It's just kind of hard now to sell music. I think
Oh,
that
totally.
even huge bands, like I think I saw an interview with like Devin Townsend. He said like, yeah, I go out and tour like all year and I make $60,000. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, it's
He
like-
probably makes
that-
a little more than that, but yes,
yeah,
pretty much.
But I was like, that blew my mind. I was like, Devin Townsend doesn't bring in like hundreds of thousands of
Well,
dollars.
it's because he puts so much money into
Sure.
the live show, and then he has
He has huge
he has
productions.
big crews. I've as you know, I'm the biggest fan, so I've done the VIP things at their shows, and I've met the crews. They have a really big crew, and they're paying them all salary, like close to top notch money. You know what I mean? Like they're all making probably, I don't even know, probably $2,500 a week or something like that. You can't just maintain that in progressive metal. You know what I mean?
No,
Right.
That's just
Especially
an
North
example that
America.
He does it because that's what he loves to do. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not out to make millions of dollars. He does it because
Yeah.
he loves playing music.
Although
So,
somehow or another he has, because with his most recent album, Empath, he spent $170,000 of his own money out of pocket for the album,
oh yeah, it's,
plus that almost that much money from the label. So there's no telling.
Well, I mean, but stop and think about it. So you say he makes $60,000 a year. Okay. So
that's just touring. That's not selling stuff. Sure. Yeah.
And you know, so you take that, I make less than that, plus I have a second income. So, you know, a couple of years of that kind of income, then yeah, you might have that money to spend.
True.
Yeah, you know, 60,000 a year, I'd take it.
Yeah.
Me too.
To play music full time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be incredible.
Oh yeah. And he has a very specific fan base, I guess you could say, that really enjoys what he does. I feel like there's a lot of bands that go on tour that are good. They don't quite have the exact passionate fan base. I'm biased, obviously, but I just feel like people really enjoy his shows. The shows I've gone to.
I really agree with that. I've kind of had that thought for a long time. Like, I would rather have a smaller group of people be way more into what we're doing, than to have a large group of people that are kind of like, they're all right.
Exactly.
You know?
Totally.
I think in the long run, you'll be more successful that way.
Yeah.
I will take the small audience of passionate fans, and I will take with that the meh dollars.
Yeah. It's not the two are not mutually exclusive.
No, I will take it both.
Mm-hmm.
So is it safe to say that like Devin Townsend and all of his iterations of his projects and stuff, that's kind of a inspiration maybe at some level for Galaxia?
Not for me.
For me, absolutely. For him and for Dylan and Zach, no, not really.
I'm just not a huge fan of Devin Townsend. I respect him as a musician, but I just cannot get into his music.
He's one of those, you really like him, or you're just like, that's really weird. One of those dudes.
And Zach and I have talked about this before. I respect the hell out of what he does and what he can do. But I'm like Dylan. I can't really get into it. I get into more of his early stuff, the early Strapping Young Lad. I really like the Vi album he did.
Me too.
And I'm not
fun.
I'm not a huge fan of Vi either.
I'm not a huge Vi fan either.
But I thought, I don't know, maybe he was a little more commercial on that Vi album.
Yeah, he was kind of forced to do that style as well. I don't know how much, I forget how much writing he actually did with that. He might have done some writing, I'm sure he did, but I think he was forced, and he also didn't like it, which was strange. But actually, it's not strange if you listen to the guy talk, but he's a strange guy.
I think my take on him, I guess, is like he's one of my favorite vocalists I think ever. Dude has a crazy range. He can do any kind of style from like operatic to full out, you know, ball crushing screams and
angel sounds.
Yes, he's amazing when it comes to his vocal technique.
Oh yeah,
especially in performance. Stuff. Like he's a great performer, really great guitar player. I love his guitar tone. The thing that gets me about him is he puts everything in the kitchen sink into every song, and then he tracks those layers over and over and over, and by the time it seems like there's no life left in the song. I feel like it's just so dense that it just kind of becomes flat.
That's what a lot of people have. That's what a lot of people don't like about his music, is because it's.
I was worried it was just me.
100 layers. There's like 150 layers or more for real in every song.
And believe me, I'm a more is more.
Me too.
Philosophy kind of guy. Like I'm totally that guy.
Lots of people don't like that about his music because it is so dense and it requires a ton of attention. That sounds really pretentious to say, but it requires a ton of attention to detail to listen to his music. I don't know why I like it so much. I just do. But.
Right.
Well,
I think that live would be a totally different thing. I think it's just the way that he goes about recording the albums. Like, and I say that there's definitely like some songs in there that I absolutely love and I'll listen to over and over. But there's just, I don't know. I think it's just a sensibility with the way he records, or engineers, however you want to look at it.
Tons of people don't like his engineering aspect or his engineering approach as well. The way he mixes records and stuff. People hate that. Tons of people think it's terrible or it's noise or it's just like
it is pretty noisy.
White noise kind of thing, you know. But I love it. I think it's great. It's really ethereal.
And I think that's the core of any music. I mean, you cannot, like you said, you don't know why you like it. You have that connection. You can't quantify that. I mean,
to me, it it was the music I always wanted to listen to, but I didn't know it actually existed. And then I found it, and I was like, wow, this is exactly what I've always wanted to listen to. For real,
Right,
it's
right.
just crazy. Yeah, it's just outlandish. Lyrically, doesn't even make sense sometimes, which is what I prefer, to be honest. I don't like lyrics to make sense sometimes, but yeah.
I totally get that. I had that reaction. Like I don't know. I am a big Tool fan from like back when they first came out. Like I followed them, and they kind of what got me into more progressive music. They're kind of my gateway drug into prog rock, and I went back and all this stuff. And I started, trying to write my own music, and had a band called Blood Red Moon. I was doing my thing with that, and I discovered.
I went to Spencer's house earlier. He was telling. I think he mentioned that band or something.
Yeah, he played with me in that band for a little while too.
Mentioning that band.
So Spencer is a good friend of ours and a really good singer and guitar player. And I think we mentioned before he's had an accident where he can no longer play guitar, but still love the guy, and brilliant guy too. But
Yes, definitely.
that what you're saying about Devin Townsend, your reaction to that, I felt that way about Porcupine Tree when I came to them late. I didn't know about them until I think what's the album? Oh shoot. I'm drawing a blank.
Fear of a Blank Planet.
Fear of a Blank Planet. That's exactly right. I don't know why I just blanked out on that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to answer it for
Yeah.
you.
No, I heard that album and I was
just
just
guessed
like,
because that's like the best one.
Right.
Or my opinion, the best
well,
one.
that's what I first heard, and I was like, dude, this is like really dark, but it's very
Catchy.
dynamic, and
Yeah,
it's
and
catchy
super
and
catchy.
melodic, and
Yeah.
but it's not simple like you're saying. There's a lot of
Yeah.
layers going on in
Not
it,
simple.
and I was just like, this is what I've been trying to do, and
Yes.
but now I'm a failure. Like
Same reaction for me for Porcupine Tree. I absolutely love them. Probably my second or third favorite band, for real. They're
Yeah.
amazing. I wish I could see them. They're not a band anymore, but
yeah. I guess Steven Wilson is still doing.
yeah, I've
Some
seen
of those
I've seen
songs,
Steven
but-
Wilson 2 times, and he did
Oh, I'm
Porcupine Tree songs a few times. He did Lazarus. He
That's
did,
cool.
Sleep Together. He did what's that other one from In Absentia? Sound of Music.
Yeah, it's cool.
A few other ones.
Cool.
Don't Hate
I
Me.
think it's 5/4 kind of beat in that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a neat riff too.
It is.
That's
It's
a
a
great
cool
riff.
drum beat. Gavin Harrison's like the best drummer ever,
He is
or one of them.
One of
Not-
them.
It's hard to say he's the best ever, but
for real.
I don't know.
It's hard to say anybody's the best ever.
Well, it's
'cause-
Neil
You're
Peart.
right.
Oh, except
Then-
Michael Jordan. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll agree. But
Okay,
I'll
okay.
always love Magic Johnson better though.
yeah,
So-
fair enough.
I'm not going there.
Well-
So we
Have you been
covered.
tested?
I love the Johnsons.
Have you been tested? No, I'm just kidding. That's messed up. Anyway,
Maybe it's not coronavirus. God damn it.
edit that out.
All right. So, wow.
Now that I've made an AIDS joke,
Yeah, there we go.
I'll make a spike so you can see where it is.
It's like the 80s all over again.
You got like remember in Mr. Lehman's class in middle school
Oh my god.
about the AIDS joke you made where he kicked you out of the class
Yeah.
immediately
I'm
about injecting
not
all of
too
your-
proud of that, but it was kind of funny
It
at
was-
the time.
Hey,
You didn't even
I'm
finish
all right
before he
with
kicked you out of class.
I know.
I'm all right with wrong things that are funny as long,
Oh,
as,
yeah,
everyone,
yeah.
as long as everyone just knows it's a joke.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's totally
I mean-
just a joke.
It's like Ebola on a plane.
For real. I'm tired of this Ebola. On a, no.
On this motherfucking plane. So let's hop over to Dylan. And so what's going to be your biggest influence then? At least as pertains to Galaxia. I mean, you can give us your biggest influence, but
Shoot, give us your like top 5. I don't.
yeah, we got time.
I guess as a bass player, I'd obviously have to say Rush is a huge influence on how I play and my style of playing. Just as complicated as Rush sounds, the simplicity of how he plays when you actually learn how to play the song. As I've gotten older and played more, I've learned, at least on bass guitar, simpler is always going to be better than. Like John Mayung is a phenomenal bass player, but it's kind of boring playing exactly what the guitar player is playing the entire time.
Right. I agree with that.
You lose that feel, that well, I guess the bottom end of the song, the real oomph of the song, when you're playing, you know, a solo with, you know, John Petrucci the entire time.
Yeah.
Like there's no bottom end. It's just it's all top end, and there's no feeling. You lose the feeling of a song if you don't have the, you know, the bottom end, like Victor Wooten would say.
You've really grown up.
I know.
You know, it used to be the complete opposite of that.
I know. Well, my hands hurt now, so I don't want to do anything.
You know, I think, and this has always been my gripe. I wouldn't say with progressive music, because I've come around to a new definition of what progressive music was. Growing up, what I thought progressive music was, you know, early Chicago, Kansas, you know, which are great bands. But I feel like sometimes the song gets lost in the technical ability.
Totally.
Exactly.
I
you
agree.
know, in the noodling. And that's, you know, that's, I think, is similar to Zach. You know, Tool really brought me in, because for all the crazy shit they do, there's still some kind of connection to a core song. And so, you know, knowing the value of when to separate what you do from the guitarist, and knowing when to bring it all together, you know, for the benefit of the song. Yeah. And you know, I think that is part of the problem, and part of why pop music is so popular, is because there's really no separation there. I mean, I think pop music focuses on the vocal, and everything else is just
serves that hook of a melody
to get it out the door.
Yeah.
and having a strong beat that you can dance to.
Right,
Exactly.
right. Yeah. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, when you go to the really technical stuff that doesn't really have any...
Doesn't have any feeling.
Right, right. You know, and it's that middle ground that I think is where the best music lies.
Yeah. Like I in general love prog music, but I'm not a Dream Theater fan for the reason that you're saying.
Yeah.
Now again, there's some songs that are the exception to the rule for them, and they're all like super amazing.
Yes.
Much respect to all of them, but I just don't connect a lot with their music. But
Yeah.
Well, and I think, like I said earlier, that's just, you can't quantify why you connect with something. You know, I mean, you talk about, Zach talks about his love for prog all the time, but then you go back and you know, he absolutely loves Typo Negative, and to me,
yeah,
that's
prog at
really pretty basic, you know.
Very basic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
you know,
interesting.
I'm the same way. There's pop music that I freaking love.
Oh yeah, me too.
You know,
I love Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
I fucking love Lady Gaga.
My biggest is Kelly. I'm a big Kelly fan. And the thing is I never...
R. Kelly?
Yeah.
R.
yeah,
Kelly.
Yeah. I like it when he pees on me.
Wait,
You're not-
Kelly,
Wait, what?
Kelly,
you're not
who?
young enough.
Kelly,
Beat on
Kelly
by R.
Clarkson.
Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly Clarkson.
Okay,
Kelly
I like Kelly. Yeah,
And see,
she's
you
good.
know, I never watched Idol. It was her second album when that came out, and I was like, ooh, I like this. And then I listened to the
good.
rest of it. She's got some pipes.
Yeah, her voice is amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I like. There's a pop rock artist out right now she's been popular for the past 5 years or so ish. She hasn't quite gotten to the mainstream, but she's called Grace Potter. Have you guys
Yes.
heard
Yeah,
of her?
no, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
her.
Yeah, she's great.
Yes.
Her music, I don't know if she's writing it. She might, I don't know, but she's great. Her songs on a few of her albums are amazing, I think.
You know, I grew up with a lot of Motown, and so any band that kind of captures at least a tinge of that, I really like. There was a female performer that came out, and it was probably early 2000s, and her name was Nika Costa. If you get a chance, check her out. She's really good, but she's got an old soul vibe, but with
What's her last name again?
Costa, Costa.
Cool.
Got an old soul vibe, but kind of modern beat, modern production type thing. I really, really like her stuff.
That's cool.
Interesting. I haven't heard of her. I thought you were gonna say Nico Case, who's another singer who has an old school vibe, but it's not what you said.
Oh, well, maybe
Yeah.
I need to check that one out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's neat.
Well, and see,
Yeah, I
it's
like
just
her.
stuff like that rubbed off on Quentin because, you know, one of his favorites is Amy Winehouse. And, you know, I really liked her too. But
I never really listened to her music.
and it's
I don't listen to much of her music.
it's very, very old school with kind of a modern production value. I mean, I shouldn't say you know, kind of hip hop style beat type thing, but with a very old school songwriting style,
Yeah, that's cool.
which is pretty cool. I don't know. I love it when, you know, a different genre pops up and grabs my attention. You know, I think the only one that really doesn't do that is country.
I have to agree with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Unfortunately.
You know, I think part of for me is I DJ'd on country radio for 2 years.
Oh.
I wasn't a
Got
country
burnt
fan to
out.
begin with, but that really kind of killed it.
I personally like 90s country, like the cheesy, like goofy
So
songs.
cheesy.
Well,
Yeah.
and see, that's when I was stuck in a.
I mean, that's the best country.
I mean, it's
It's
better than
fun.
any of the stuff today.
It's fun to play.
I mean, you
It's
might
all
as well be.
upbeat. I mean, if you want to be a cover band, like a 90s country band's where to be.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
I can see that being super successful.
Oh, yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
So I run sound for cover bands now at the
Right.
Cherokee casinos. They're all playing the same songs.
Oh,
All the 90s hits. You hear them every night. And the same people that come there every time to dance. I guess they don't care. They listen to the same songs over and over again. But
Exactly. I mean, that's
it annoys me to death, to be honest.
Well, and you know, there's a lot to that. I mean, it's like people talking about only listening to one genre of music. I mean, how do you go through your day with that?
oh, there's no way I could do that.
just
no
one
way.
thing, you know.
don't
But
know.
but there are those people that never grow up past this point. You know, anything new is just trash. And
Right.
granted, there is some new stuff that's trash. I'm
yeah.
I'm gonna get off my lawn moment. And, you know, there's some trash out there, but
I remember
there's always
reading
been some
something.
trash out there.
I remember reading something that was saying like where you are when you kind of reach adulthood, when you kind of transition out of puberty and stuff, like whatever is kind of in your head at that time, whatever you really like, that kind of gets like locked into you.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you can't branch out from there, but you have to kind of try after that point. You have to make the choice to kind of get out of that little comfort zone of that genre. But it's like something kind of built into us. But,
Well, and maybe being a creative kind of helps, but you know, I know for a fact that there are people out there still beating the same horse. you
Sure.
know?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean that are creative people.
Yeah.
But I mean, to counter that, you know, middle school, high school. Well, middle school was kind of 80s hair metal, and it transitioned to Pantera and stuff like that. Hit 30, and man, all I want to listen to between 80s hair metal and 80s synthwave, I'm listening to 80s synthwave pop. You know, because
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I prefer it.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in it, so I know all the songs on either side. But if I'm gonna choose which one I'm listen to, I'm gonna listen to the Pet Shop Boys. You know.
That's funny.
So, all right, 90s country, Rush,
80s synthwave,
80s synthwave, and Devin Townsend. You put those all in a little blender.
That's pretty much how you get Galaxia.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a country song we might perform.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, two
Nice.
country songs. We got Hoedown.
Yeah, well, one we haven't performed yet.
Oh,
mayonnaise
Oh,
song,
the
remember?
mayonnaise song.
Yeah, we might perform
The
that.
mayonnaise song. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a very 90s country song.
Yeah, with
I'm excited to hear it. I'm not a country fan, but I'm excited to hear
It's
you
a
guys
country
do
song
country.
with 60 layers of synth going on.
Yeah.
maybe not 60. But
It's at
maybe
least more than
12.
5.
But if you do that, though,
Yeah, it
you
has to
have,
be an even number. Yeah.
Well,
you have to get a button-down shirt with pearl buttons, and then you have to get bedazzled jeans.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Oh,
And
you got to do it
cowboy hat,
right.
Have to do it properly, of course.
Yeah.
Glasses. Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
I'll be there for that.
Yeah, Galaxia is a very weird band when it comes down to it.
God bless you.
And I don't know if it's intentional or not, but sometimes I'll listen to your music and I was like, man, this should be the soundtrack to like a side-scrolling game where you're just like blowing shit up.
I've heard that a lot. That's not intentional, but yes, heard that a lot about
Yeah,
somebody
and it's
saying
not
this
every
should be-
song, but just once in a while something will hit me. I'm just like, yeah, dude, like Mega Man should be like shooting the shit out of some.
Well,
things.
when he put out several songs, it was like, hey, try and write some vocals for this, And I can't remember which one it was, but I
did I send
listened
to you?
I listened to it. Yeah. I listened to it, and I immediately saw the scan lines from a VCR, and it was almost like Kung Fury. I mean, this song needed to be in Kung Fury. I mean,
That's a
you
great
had to
movie.
fix the tracking on the VCR to get it to come in, slap the TV to get it going.
Oh, the good
That
old
was
days.
the soundtrack. It was amazing.
I think I know what song you're talking about too, and that made it on Written, I believe, if that's the one you're.
I think
thinking of.
so, yeah.
Yeah, it's called Glass.
Yes.
That's a strange one to perform live since we don't have a keyboard player, and I'm just playing power chords the entire time, pretty much. So it's kind of weird
Yeah, playing Galaxia live, it is interesting
sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes.
because Galaxia is a 3-piece.
It's a three-piece, but there's so much going on.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know
It's kind of
for-
awkward sometimes.
I don't know if we're cheating technically
Yeah,
playing
we're
it
che-
live.
Oh, we're cheating.
I mean,
absolutely.
we could probably stand to have like 6 keyboard players,
Yeah.
but we can't find a single.
but we
one,
can't find a
so
single keyboard player, so we're just gonna track
Yeah.
it.
We're in the same boat.
That's our
Yeah.
excuse.
Yeah.
And you guys do it now. You guys,
Yeah.
the past 2 times I've seen you guys have had tracks. That's cool. I'm glad you guys are doing it.
Yeah,
because
it
it
adds
really
a little
adds
something
the
to it.
atmosphere, especially on your
We have
mountain breather.
we have this debate all the time about whether or not to add, because it's one guitar, but I distinctly write for 2 guitarists.
Yeah, same here.
I try not to because it is just one guitarist. So we're always like, should we put another guitar in there or backing vocals, too.
Yeah.
That's the big one because that's when you're getting into like totally cheating territory. But we've done it too. But it's just like, should I do this or no? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do it. Whatever.
Yeah, who's gonna notice?
That's when you're getting into real cheating territory.
But our core system of belief is that if we have mechanical failure on any of that equipment, we've got to be able to do it live without it.
That's
Yeah.
Galaxia's problem.
We can't without the synth.
If,
So
if for
we're just
some
gonna
reason,
go home.
if for
But
some reason the
here's-
keyboard was go down,
Yeah.
if Galaxia would just fail. It'd be a train wreck.
There's
So,
only like 3 songs we could do that would sound cool without
right,
it.
well, so in your particular case, you then just need to have a backup system ready to go.
Yeah,
that's
but I have
cheap.
what's really great is
Not any cheaper than anything.
what's really great is we have one laptop, and what's even greater about that is one FireWire to FireWire to Mac FireWire cable. Only one.
It's
So we're running on constant fear of failure. But when you're like that, that's when nothing bad happens.
Yeah,
When you're
exactly.
fine and happy,
we
that's
have,
when
we
something
have
bad
never
happens.
prepared for anything.
Okay, well, you need to knock
I don't
on
even
wood.
I don't
'cause
have a
you
spare
just-
tire
you
in my
just-
car. I don't have a spare tire. I'd
You
like
just
to-
said it out loud, so you pretty much just challenged the cosmos to fight
Galaxia
you.
likes
isn't
to
wood.
live dangerously.
There's wood under it, I promise.
Was
Yeah,
it,
I don't have a spare tire.
when we played at the Canes, which was
Oh my
probably one of our best shows we have ever played. He forgot to plug the laptop in.
At the end of the show, it was the batteries at 2%.
2%.
So we were really lucky.
We extremely lucky.
Wow.
So stupid.
You made it through,
Yeah,
though.
we
That's
barely
amazing.
made it
Barely.
because that particular song. If the laptop would have went out, I'm pretty sure it would have been a complete train wreck because
No, because the last song doesn't have too much going
well,
on.
I know,
it
but
doesn't
Zach
have too much.
Zach uses the click.
Yeah, it actually has gone out apparently one time at
Yeah.
a show that we played. The very first show we played with Zach, actually.
At the first shop, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first shop in Tulsa. And we played it, and he stayed perfectly on time. It went out, and then it came back in, and he's perfectly on time. He didn't have a
Wow.
click in his ear, for
Yeah,
real.
he's pretty much a
If
drum
I'm
machine without
remembering
it,
this
so.
correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, Zach Lum is the drummer for Galaxia. We'll have him in here too because he's involved with some other projects that we want him to talk about. That's the reason we just have you guys in here.
Yeah.
We said screw him for tonight, but
Actually,
He
is-
said, screw you.
Yeah, he says pretty
actually,
Yeah.
he's playing Uncle tonight, so.
oh, all right. But
Cool.
yeah, he is having dabbled in some drums myself. I can say that he is like upper echelon, next level kind of drummer guy. I mean, he's super good, super good.
I'd say.
Well,
And super good
sure.
with you guys. I
You
think
know.
he does a really great job playing with you guys.
I feel like we're holding him back sometimes for real.
He has played with tracks and a click from the first day I saw him, and I mean it's not like I've known him forever. You know, obviously he's done
He
without,
has metronomes
but
in his ears.
but yeah, I mean he's done it for as long as I've known him.
Right.
So
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah. All you guys. That's another thing that I can say unequivocally. I don't think I said that right.
No, you
Anyways,
said it right.
okay. That all three of you guys are fantastic musicians. Fantastic
Thanks.
musicians.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far.
No,
I mean,
I'll go that far.
close,
I'll go
yeah,
that far.
yeah,
And
yeah.
beyond,
despicable
dude.
human beings, but fantastic music.
You guys are shit people, but
Join the club.
but no, you can listen to someone's recording and you could say, okay, how much of this is studio magic kind of stuff, but you guys do it live. Like, I know we got synths going on in the background, okay, but BJ, your guitar playing, Dylan, your bass playing, Zach's drumming, you guys nail it. And
Sometimes, yeah. Thank you.
Sometimes.
no,
yeah,
man,
sometimes.
I mean, I'm always pretty floored by just how precise you guys are. And
It starts with Zach for sure.
Yeah.
Zach's messed up like twice out of all the however many shows we play together, 30 or 40 or whatever it is. He's literally messed up like
Yeah,
twice.
that's amazing.
And I say mess up like audible mess up.
right.
I'm sure he's messed up in his opinion, but
Right.
several times.
Like,
but
I didn't quite have the right feel on that third tom,
yes,
or
exactly.
something.
But
right.
if he messes up, we're gonna sound bad.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
I
so,
mean,
yeah, it helps for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But all you guys are really great about that.
yeah, I definitely can't do what I do without Zach being spot on every time we play. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that he feels the same way about you guys.
Maybe not, but
He can't even hear us. I don't think he can hear
Probably
us.
can't even hear us. All he hears is a giant wall of synth and somebody screaming.
Yeah.
And another thing I think that's really cool about the way you guys write is I feel like, because I've seen you guys play, I've seen you guys just diddle around. I've seen you guys, screw around on guitar or whatever. And I think that you leave yourself room in writing the music where you're not overplaying. Like, I could see a lot of guys, I'm not saying you're not challenging yourselves when you write your music, because there's definitely like some solos in there and stuff that I'm like, how the hell is he going to do that live? And then you do it and I'm like, God dang, that guy's good. But there's a lot of times where you leave space and room for the music to kind of breathe.
Yeah, that's a big thing of how I approach writing. Because
Right.
just like you were saying with what you were saying with Kansas and Dream Theater, especially like The Astonishing or something like that, where it's just, I don't know if you guys listened to Dream Theater's Astonishing album, or
Yeah.
if you tried to.
Not impressed.
I mean, technically, of course, it's impressive, but it's just
Yeah.
So much going on.
it's just like, okay, I have to pay attention so much to this that it hurts. And I know that sounds like conceited people or whatever, prog snobs will just go like this at you, but
you just don't
Right.
understand
I don't
music
like
theory.
I don't like super overly technical stuff. Also, the fact that I can't play the super overly technical as well, so I don't.
So basically, you just don't like it because you can't play it. So.
No. I like some of it for sure, like Necrophagist and
Well, yeah, that's the good old stuff.
some tons of Dream Theater I love, but yes, I don't like to go over the technical. It has to breathe. It has to be a cool sounding song. It has to be catchy. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that caught me by surprise at one point because sometimes, and because it's so, like, you're such a great guitar player, you're such a great bass player, but then things will be so synth heavy. And like you're saying, that one song, I was like, I'm just playing power chords on that song.
But
And
if you
kinda
did
let
something
the
else, it
synth
wouldn't-
do
yeah,
the
exactly.
heavy lifting. And I'm just like, oh, he's such a good guitar player, but he's gonna like
Step
back,
back, yeah.
back off a little bit.
That's why I was saying it's awkward to play, because if you're just looking at me, it's pretty boring. But when you're listening to it as a whole, if you close your eyes, you're like, oh, it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
Oh no, that sounds very cool.
Yeah.
that's kind of like what I was saying about how I was stepping back on the technical stuff, because I would go to open mic nights in Bartlesville and the bars, and all the guys were like, "Oh, you're just playing too many notes. You don't you need to let the song speak for itself." So I think doing that and playing like, country music and stuff has really taught me a lot about how the structure of the song can like affect how it feels. It doesn't have to be overly complicated for it to be an amazing song that feels good to you.
I think that's the important thing is you're serving the song, not just your ego and trying to show off.
Yes,
and I never feel like you guys are trying to show off.
Especially serving the song. Yes.
Yeah.
Soft serve.
Yeah,
Soft serve.
Self-serve Galaxia.
Soft serve.
Soft serve.
Soft serve.
Doesn't,
Soft serve, self-serve.
It doesn't matter, man. It's about the music, man.
Yep.
Tell about the music, man.
And the $10 we make when we play.
Oh yeah. 16 actually sometimes.
Oh, 16, yeah. Split 3 ways.
It's all about those Washingtons.
Yes. Well, you can go to Ecuador and spend that.
If we go down to
far.
Ecuador, we can make $10 and be fucking millionaires.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we need to take a tour to Ecuador.
I've heard that's a pretty popular spot for expats.
For what?
For expatriates, like people that want to move out of the country.
Oh, not the team. I'm thinking NFL team.
I mean, they can move too.
Yeah, I'm all right with the Patriots moving.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I wonder why.
It's cheap.
Cheap, obviously.
Yeah, probably that.
Belize is one too. Belize is an amazing country.
Really?
Andy and I went there last year. It's amazing and cheap.
You travel quite a bit, when you can, don't you?
Oh yeah, as much as we possibly. Well, not as much as we possibly can, but a lot. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you think that has an influence on music and art and stuff?
Yeah, actually. Once again, I'm going to sound super pretentious, but
Go ahead.
There we go.
so
Please do. But we know you're cool. We know you.
we went to New Zealand, and the entire last half of the trip was just like amazing. You're seeing everything. That's the most beautiful place you've ever seen in your life, and then you get all this musical ideas in your head that it's just coming out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have control of it. It's just musical ideas, and a few of those songs ended up being pretty cool. They haven't been released yet, but
Soon.
Oh,
Yeah.
more in the works for
Hell
Galaxia.
yeah.
tons.
Nice.
Probably. I'm hoping to get 2 released this year, 2 EPs, and then a third one that's almost all the way written as well. That's pretty cool. That's gonna be pretty much totally different than anything that we put out. So.
Shit, we're trying to get our second song done.
Well, some of these songs. Excuse me. I'm gonna burp. Excuse me. Actually, not excuse me. Whatever.
Nice.
Smell those onions.
Let it
But,
go.
Sorry, Dylan. I know you're a hygiene freak. Not really.
Not really.
Just kidding.
I just don't like how onions smell when people eat them.
I don't either. They're gross. But yeah, 2 of the EPs are gonna have 2 different singers on them. The guy that sang on Countdown, Tiago, he's gonna be on the new one of the new ones, and that's gonna be 4 songs, which will contain one song that I believe is probably the best thing that will be the best Galaxia song that's come out so far. If it's done right, of course. Mixed right, excuse me. If I can get the mix right. Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing. You do all the engineering yourself, right?
Engineering,
You guys
yes.
in-house?
The Countdown was mixed by Chris Cawthon from Bartlesville, and I recorded everything at his house, minus the vocals, obviously,
Mhm.
and drums. But so guitars and bass and stuff was all done at his house, and the retina was all done at my house. So I mixed that one. That's
it
why it sounds a
sounds-
little different.
And it sounds freaking incredible.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. People that
Both
don't
albums
know, BJ here has golden ears.
I won't go that far. I feel like my mid range is kind of weird sometimes, but yeah. Thank you.
No,
Yeah. And guitar tones, bass tone, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, he has a really cool 6-string bass or 5-string bass. Ibanez.
Oh yeah,
Is
it's
that a 6-string?
it's the 5-string multi-scale bass.
Yeah, that thing sounds
Ooh.
great. And no offense to that bass, but Chris, my friend Chris, who mixes stuff, he's actually mixing the Labadee House. Remember the band For the Wolf? They changed their name?
Yeah.
He's mixing that. I went over to his house the other day to listen to some of it. He got this new bass, this German engineered bass. I can't even pronounce the company's name.
No,
It's
it's one
the
of those
most-
bass guitars.
It's one of the most amazing instruments I've ever heard. It sounds like a MIDI bass. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
Just the DI plugged into his interface sounded one of the best bass tones I've ever heard in my life. So the next
Crazy.
3 Galaxia EPs will be recorded with that bass. I promise you that.
right.
It sounds. No offense to your.
No, it's fine. It was just $1,300. That's all right.
I don't know how
well,
much.
that's not bad. I
Guess
mean,
I'll just toss it in the
honestly,
dumpster.
It's really not.
No, his bass sounds great. Yeah, for sure. But and the new Labadee House. Holy crap, dude.
I
I
can't
haven't
wait.
heard any of their. I haven't heard any of their music in a long time, to be honest.
What Chris has done.
The last thing they released
good.
was I don't know if it's pronounced Ether. I think it's pronounced Ether.
Oh, out of Dodge City.
No, not the
No, not the
band.
band.
Not the
Oh,
band.
okay.
They Labadee House has a song called Ether, and
Oh, okay.
they released a music video for it.
Oh.
And it sounds really good. But the We Own the Moon. Man, we've been listening to that for 5 fucking years.
Live.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great song.
And we need that fucking song.
That's
so
that's
bad.
one of the songs I listen to, and it sounds like Chris has gotten really good, especially since he's done the Galaxy album he did.
Yeah.
He's gotten even better, big time, and it sounds like damn near top professional level quality. I'm serious. It sounds amazing in his studio at least.
Yeah.
You know how that changes sometimes.
I really,
Right.
really like that band.
Yeah, they're good, and people that like that band will enjoy what Chris has done with that. It sounds great.
That's awesome and encouraging to hear.
Yeah, he has the UAD plugins. You guys familiar with Universal Audio plugins?
I'm
I'm familiar with the price tag.
Yeah, I don't have any of them, but yes, I know that people rave about them though.
They're phenomenal. They're
Yeah,
incredible.
The price tag and the
Hardware you get.
the uncrackability of them.
Yeah, well, they're smart. See, they have hardware. You have to have the hardware.
yep.
Very smart company.
Damn it.
Not that I would ever steal.
None of us in this room would ever
No.
I wouldn't get on
use
Pirate Bay at all.
unlicensed.
I paid $60
software.
for Reaper and WinRAR.
You paid for WinRAR?
No, I didn't pay for WinRAR. I'm kidding. Nobody pays for
I don't think
WinRAR.
anyone's ever paid for WinRAR.
I mean, it's still a version from 1984.
Yeah. But also, another EP will have this other singer named Arthur Pessoa, who is coincidentally another Brazilian. That, the U.S. to Brazilian exchange rate is really nice.
Cool.
Well, that's good. Too bad they can't
About
live in the
4
U.S.
times the amount. So basically, I'm paying their 3 months rent or whatever for very cheap
Nice.
to record a 4-song EP. This guy, at least. Anyway,
It
yeah.
sounds like
he's a great singer.
extortionate, but
Yeah.
He's a great singer.
Somebody needs to email him and say,
the
he's
exchange
ripping
rate's
you off.
real off here.
Hold
So-
out for more.
Yeah, that'll be like a 6 or 7 song EP, maybe 8, probably 7. There's a song that used to be an Edge of Zephyr song that I wrote most of it. Might do it a different way for Galaxia. I don't know. We'll see.
Which one's that one?
That punk one? It's like pop punk.
Oh, what is that one called?
What's
I don't know
what's it gonna be called?
What was it
Yeah,
called in
I
Edge
don't know
of
what it's
Zephyr, I
gonna be called.
guess.
I don't want to say copyright infringement.
It's not copyright infringement,
You
PJ.
don't know people. Some people will upload that song to the internet and copyright it. Anyway,
Anyways, I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
I know what you're doing when you get home. Play it real quick.
And then the really strange EP is gonna unfortunately have me singing on it.
Don't say unfortunately.
So
At least not until we hear it.
and it's gonna be like a mix.
It was using it on Retina, wasn't it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
singing, yes.
Yeah.
But are you singing on this and not vocoding?
Yeah, it'll be singing. It'll
Cool.
be a lot more singing, and I have gotten better, but I still am not comfortable, and I have to be totally in the mood in order to do it, like at my house
I have
when
to be
nobody's
in the mood
around.
to do it too.
That's how I am. Like, I want to sing on Galaxia songs, but I feel like every time I'd go to BJ's house, I'd have to have everyone leave the room, and it would take like 6 hours to do one song.
Yeah, that's how I am, man. Not 6 hours, but an hour, and it's gonna be like a mixture of like Peter Gabriel with like some of the lighter early Devon stuff mixed with like trip hop, I guess you could say.
That's freaking awesome.
Dude, I love
it'll
that.
be fun, like Massive Attack-ish.
Yeah.
And
I like
maybe
Massive
some like
Attack, Portishead.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
yeah, gorillas, yeah, stuff like that.
Nice.
It'll be that kind of mix, and then one song that's really absurd. It'll be like it's a straight up. There's a porcupine tree on their worst album. It's called Linton something something, and I pretty much listened to that, and I was like, wow, this is the greatest song on this album for sure. I don't like any of the song.
Yeah.
Sunday Dive or something like that. What's that album called? On a Sunday Dive or something like that.
On the Sunday side
whatever it's called.
Of Life, I think, or
yeah,
something
on
like
a
that.
Sunday Side of Life or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't like the album, to be honest, but
That's not my favorite either.
that one song that sounds like no other Porcupine Tree song, I was super inspired by, so I just went and decided to make a song that's almost exactly like that. But it'll be a fun one, and it'll be really weird, and it's about
Awesome.
stalking a famous person and killing them, which is actually lyrically making sense, unlike the other songs. But
Neat.
not that I would do that. But
But going on that, have you guys heard of the John Travolta movie that Fred Durst directed?
shut up.
Wait, what?
Shut up.
Is this real?
Yes.
This sounds amazing.
Oh, oh my God. God, I gotta find out what it was called. Because the first line out of John Travolta's, okay, so John Travolta is special, plays a special character, you know.
I can't take that serious. No offense.
I think the first line out of The Fanatic. Okay, that's the name of the movie, The Fanatic. I haven't watched it yet.
So it's already out.
Yeah, it's out. The first line out of his mouth is like, "I gotta take a poo," and he's got this freaking bowl haircut, and he's gray haired, and he stalks a celebrity. And that's the whole. But it's directed by Fred Durst.
Oh my gosh.
And starring John Travolta. And I watched a guy do a review on it, and the guy's review on it was freaking amazing because he was laughing his ass off the whole time.
I bet.
When you started talking about it, I thought you were going to say Face Off or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nicolas Cage.
So, okay, so we're going to go over to Face Off now.
Oh, no, I got him started.
Yeah, you did it.
That movie's ridiculous.
That movie
It is ridiculous, but
funny though.
the one thing that was absolutely brilliant is the first 5 minutes when Nicolas Cage is playing the bad guy. Why
true.
haven't we ever gotten that movie? Because Nicolas Cage plays a brilliant bad guy.
He does. That's true.
But no, they've got to flip it and make John Travolta the bad guy for the whole movie.
They should have started the other way around, right?
Yeah, because I mean, he's so freaking over the top anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's super over the top. There was that movie that came out with him recently that looked really strange.
The
Mandy?
color out of space.
Oh,
That's
that one.
it.
Yeah,
too.
that's
That looked too weird,
that's
too,
an
Mandy.
old H.P. Lovecraft novel.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Right.
a really big fan of H.P. Lovecraft books, so that looks really interesting.
I guess the same guy that did that. The director is like Panos Cosmatos is like his name or whatever. Anyway, he did one with Nick Cage. It's called Mandy, and I haven't.
Is it real red looking?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
trailer was super
Yeah,
red. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm thinking.
And apparently,
It looks strange.
So some reviewer he went full Nicolas Cage on the movie, and I'm like,
We know what that
oh,
means.
this must be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I know what that means. Yeah. Speaking of that as well, my friend Stephen Craigbaum and I have been super slowly writing a Nicolas Cage themed metal album. I'm serious, yeah. And we have a few songs, but eventually that'll be out.
You heard it here first.
So,
That
so
is
please
something
tell me
I
you're like
never
the
expected.
vocals are like samples of Nick Cage over the top.
Not the singing vocals, but there's a few samples, yes.
Yeah.
Like from his movies, of course. The one song's about the Wicker Man. One song's about
the bees.
Yes,
Bees.
it's called Here. It's called Here Comes the Bees. Yeah,
Oh.
it's a hardcore-ish song.
Oh,
Did
I
you-
remember doing that years ago with you.
Yeah, 'cause
in
we
your
wrote that
bedroom,
years ago, yeah.
At your mom's house in your bedroom
Yep, with Jesus.
with Jesus, Ronnie, and anyways, that's
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Yeah. Ronnie was there.
Ronnie. Who else was there?
Me.
You, me.
That was
Ronnie.
I think Evan was there. Ronnie.
What's that other one that Gone in 60 Seconds? There's a song about that. There's a song about Face Off. There's a song about well, just pretty much his big movies where he acts like a crazy person, or he has some sort of distinctive quality.
Okay,
Con
everyone-
Air.
On air.
Yeah.
Put the bunny back in the box, or whatever. Yeah. So, did you ever listen to As I Lay Dying Singer's project called Austrian Death Machine that was all about Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
You never heard of
You
this?
never heard of Ozzy and Death
I can't believe you guys haven't heard of that.
That's crazy.
I've heard of it.
That feels
but
like
I've
something
never
that
listened
you
to
at
it.
least would have listened to before.
well,
But
now I
That's,
need
that's
to.
some funny
Yeah.
stuff. That was back when we were in high school, wasn't it?
yeah, like 10th grade or something.
Yeah, 10th grade.
So it's basically the same exact theme because, and those are good songs. The first, it's called Total Brutal, and it's all the famous quotes of Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's like 10 songs or something, and they turn it into like thrash metal-ish, metalcore kind of stuff, but really good, catchy, good riffs. It was right around the time that programmed drums were really popular,
Yeah.
so it has that easy drummer sound. You know what I'm talking about.
Get back to the chopper.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
That's awesome. There's a definite like sci-fi kind of vibe with Galaxia.
Yeah.
Where's that come from? Is that just an aesthetic that you kind of like, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could say. I mean, I'm huge
Synth.
sci-fi fans of movies and books, and I wouldn't say that influences my playing.
I just like the
but-
way synth sound. You know, I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
it gives music such an environment and such an. You guys hear that noise?
It's my shoe.
Okay.
Oh.
I thought you farted.
I wish it was my ass,
I
but
thought you
it was
farted.
just my shoe.
Yeah, it just gives an environment that you can't achieve with a guitar and bass,
Right.
drums,
Okay.
vocals. I mean, you can, I guess, if you have effects, but synths are cool. I love them. Which I'm sad that I have to give you back your synth that I borrowed for 2 years. Thanks
I'm
for that,
sorry.
by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm sorry to steal it back from you.
No, it's fine.
I like that you've been using it and doing
Oh,
cool
yeah.
stuff with it, though.
The only thing I couldn't get it to get MIDI signal as like I couldn't make my own MIDI and then send it to a patch that's in the keyboard and then the MIDI would control that.
Oh, yeah. see.
I could use it as a MIDI controller and I could play VSTs, but I couldn't send it. I don't know why.
Okay. Like you couldn't send a
MIDI notes
MIDI
to it.
to it and have it play it.
Yeah, like I could send some crazy something that I couldn't actually play
Right.
and then just take the output and put it back into the interface and record it. And it would sound like I really played it from the exact sound from the keyboard, but it wouldn't work. I don't know why.
Yeah, I never tried that. Maybe it's just not cool enough to do that.
It is. I don't know why it didn't work, to be honest. Maybe just
Hmm.
one of the MIDI outs is messed up in there or something.
Shitty.
Shitty MIDI.
Shitty MIDI.
MIDI's a pain in the ass. MIDI and MIDI to DMX.
MIDI to DMX is a pain, I'm sure.
Oh my God.
Do you have DMXs?
No, we're working with Freestyler,
Yeah, freestyle.
and really just haven't dove into it. The big thing I want to do with MIDI now is get it to kind of what you're doing is have it switch my helix.
Oh, dude, you have to do it.
Yeah,
It's a life changer. I'm serious. It's an absolute life changer.
You should probably
Especially if you're
explain
singing.
what we're talking about for people that aren't
Okay.
music geeks like us.
Okay. So I have a Line 6 Helix. Bjorn here is using Axe Effects still. Yeah,
XFX2.
Axe Effects 2.
Don't downgrade me.
Pardon
Just
me.
kidding.
Pardon me.
You don't
Anyway.
have 3. You're useless.
MIDI is, what's that stand for? Musical instrument
digital interface.
Digital interface. Okay. So basically, it's a control language for computers or other devices to talk to each other and control things. So what we want, what BJ is doing is when he is running these synth tracks, it is also sending a signal to his Axe Effects 2 to change all his patches. From clean to dirty or any other special effects he has on there.
Basically, all of his guitar effects.
Right.
and-
So what he can
sounds.
do is run around the stage and act like a wild man.
And he does
He does.
in his underwear.
We've seen him do flips, spandex with a jockstrap over the top. Just like Word Up.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. Sock.
Yeah, he's got a sock puppet under his guitar.
But no, that allows the computer to change all of his patches in real time.
Right. So you don't have to tap dance. You don't have to stop what you can't stop what you're doing. But take away from your ability to play to pay attention to what your feet are doing.
Yeah, and especially if you're singing and playing at the same time, you really need to do that. I promise you, it'll be like night and day. You'll be like, wow, I can't believe I didn't do this from day one because I was such an idiot back in those days. I am so much smarter now.
Right.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
And because he knows Reaper, he's going to be the guy I'm going to call.
Yeah. I've been meaning to make a tutorial because you're about the sixth person that's been like, hey, how do you do this? And the way I do it, man, once again, I'm going to sound pretentious.
There are little things that just this weekend. So before I jumped into Reaper, I was using Acid because back in...
You want to take LSD trips.
Exactly.
Just want to expand your mind.
Okay.
We're trying to go
Clarify,
psychedelic.
Sony Acid is a music program. But I'm open to possibilities. Anyway, back in 2000, Sony, it wasn't Sony, it was Sonic Foundry. Acid came out, and so I was the only one making music, so that's what I got because it was loop based, so you could throw one little drum beat in there and then drag it across the whole timeline, and you've got drums. So making the switch, one of the things I've noticed is I was zooming in on my Reaper timeline, and with Acid, as you zoom in, your grid lines get smaller and smaller. You get to where you could, move 1 millisecond over. Reaper's not doing that, or at least it's not doing that for me. As I zoomed in, whatever grid that I have set up, it stopped at one point because there was, speaking of Easy Drummer, that's what I have handy for practicing with.
Yeah, great. It looks great.
Yeah, there was just a kick and a crash, just a good, and I wanted to scoot it over to where the guitar hit, and I couldn't because it was either going to go this far or this far.
You
have
got to
gridlock
deselect the gridlock. Yeah.
you got gridlock on.
So where's that at?
I'll show you. I'll show you once we're done with all this, and I'll blah blah blah. But once again, I'm going to sound pretentious, but the way I have it set up, the way I have our backing tracks and the MIDI changes, I haven't seen it on the internet. I haven't seen anybody make a tutorial like this, so I need to make a tutorial.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
If you need my help, let's do
I
Let's
do
do
need
it.
your help when it comes to like screen capture.
Okay.
I don't know how to do that.
I
don't have one.
I found some app. There was something that lets you do it. I can't remember which. But
Yeah, you need to send me that.
Cool.
yeah. So
I want to learn that too.
yeah,
So I need that
we
tutorial
all need
also.
to.
Awesome.
Yeah. What else there was something else in Reaper that was giving me fits. It had an issue with so I have Helix native, right? So I don't have to connect my Helix to use all the Helix processing power, right?
And Helix is a guitar effects processing unit also.
Yeah. So I can just dry guitar and then have all my amps at my disposal. And when I installed it, I had VST2 plugins, VST3 plugins. Anyway, had everything set up, was running it on the VST2 plugins. And then I went and restarted Reaper, came back to it. And all of a sudden, the VST2 plugins weren't working. So, it automatically switched to the VST3, but then I had to go back in and reselect my patch, and then I had to adjust the volumes and everything. And I don't know, maybe that's because I haven't paid my $60 yet. Here's my thing, though. Here's my thing as far as a Reaper trial. It is 60 days, okay? And every time you start it, it tells you how many hours that you've run. It tells you how many days over the 60 days you are, but it tells you how many hours you've run. And the hours I have run it are nowhere near 60 days. That is that's my cutoff. I want 60 days worth of learning this freaking program before I pay for it. And I don't think that's unreasonable. I mean, I can go 30 days without ever touching it.
I would say it'd be different if it was like
30 real days.
If you were an engineer and making money on it on a daily basis by doing that stuff, I'd probably argue with that.
Yeah.
Right, but I used it more this weekend than I have in the year and a half that
Right.
the year and a half that I've been baited or testing it.
Right.
But it really is a good program. There aren't too many deviations from acid, so the learning curve hasn't been huge.
Yeah.
But it's just little things.
It's just a matter of layout. Like I used Pro Tools for a while, and then I used Studio One, and starting to use this now. And yeah, I can do everything those other things can do. It's just how do I get it?
Yeah.
Where do I need to go?
Where's it at?
Yeah, where's it at? Once you get that down, then it's all cool.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden there's a new one that everybody's using, and you need to try it.
Yep.
I don't know. Could we play one of your songs?
Sure.
We have your permission.
Yeah.
All right.
YouTube can't take it down because I said so.
All right.
I'm sure they'll recognize my face by now. Facebook.
Okay, so what do you want us to play?
Is there a certain song that you'd love for everyone to hear?
Oh, well, whatever you want, I suppose.
Our 13 subscribers? I don't know. Are you guys subscribers? It might be 11.
I think I subscribed.
Yeah, whatever you want.
But people are going to come back to this and be like, "Oh, this is Galaxia's first appearance." When there's 1 million subscribers, then
You guys gonna
everyone's
be
gonna
like
hear.
Joe Rogan.
I don't know about that.
Who the hell's Galaxia?
All you need to do is just spend some money on a really famous person to interview here.
Yeah.
Then you get some followers right there.
Right on.
Just a few $1,000 out of your personal savings.
Right.
To interview somebody like Gene Simmons or something, or Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons would be
If
far
we're gonna
more
pick,
entertaining.
yeah, I'm taking him.
I would too. Or who'd be a cool person to interview?
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle would be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
That'd be amazing.
Actually, I can't remember the comedian's name, but he's a little person, but he's a comedian. He's fucking hilarious. That'd be great.
Speaking of that, you should interview.
Probably get him for half price.
God.
God, Zach, I can't believe you said that.
You're not right, dude. You're not right at all.
Gonna lose
Speaking
3
of short
subscribers
people,
now.
the guy that plays Willow.
Look, that comedian would laugh at that joke.
You wouldn't say the R word when you were talking about the Fred Durst movie, but you'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy that plays Willow. That'd be a cool guy to interview.
Warwick
Yeah,
Davis?
Warwick
That would be
Davis.
amazing.
That would be amazing.
He's in so many movies that you
He
didn't
really
even know.
is.
He's in Harry Potter, Star Wars, Leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
I think he's in Maleficent.
He's been in a movie with Jennifer Aniston.
I guess there's a show in England that Ricky Gervais is like the producer, and it's Warwick Davis is the main character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just I think the whole thing seems like it's a big running joke on him being short. But he's like such a good sport about it. Like there's a video out there like they're kind of promoting the show or whatever, and it's Ricky Gervais. He's on stairs, and he has Warwick Davis by him, dressed like a frog, dressed in a frog outfit. He's like, "I can't believe you actually did this when I asked you to do it." And he's like, "Well, I don't know." He's like, I thought it would be cool to dress you up like Kermit. I don't know why." And he just starts cracking up. I don't know. That dude's funny.
Surprisingly, there are a lot of Galaxias on YouTube.
Oh yeah, it's
Try
It's-
Bandcamp.
it's Spanish for Galaxy, so there's a lot of Mexican cover bands if you search for
Yes,
Galaxia.
yeah. Mexican cover
Go to your
bands.
Spotify and go to the
Brazilian.
Retina album and play Cyborg,
Yeah, well, that's what I had.
There you go.
Yeah.
because that's just a badass riff. I love that riff, Cyborg.
It's a very fun song to play live.
I
Yeah,
bet
that
it
The
is.
one time we played it live.
2 times.
2 times we played it. No, the first
3
time we played.
times.
I remember we played it at the Vanguard
Maybe
live,
twice.
and my amp completely shut off.
Oh no! I know you played it at the Summer Bash.
Yeah,
Do you pay for Spotify, Matt?
I do.
You are one of the onlys.
I don't have Spotify. That's
And
A
it's
Spotify.
wonderful.
a Spotify.
Okay, so who wants to announce it? Give us an intro.
This song's called Skyborg.
TraumaFest 2020 is coming to you live from the Timeout Tavern in Iola, Kansas, August 15th. This year's stacked lineup is Kira from Oklahoma City, The Impulsive from Omaha, Nebraska, 13 Minutes from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Sign of Lies from Oklahoma City, Terracuda from Chanute, Kansas, Edge Over Edge from Cherryville, Kansas, Civil from Junction City, Kansas, They Watch Us from the Moon from Lawrence, Kansas, Ghosts in the Atlantic from South Coffeyville, Oklahoma, Rage Is My Rival from Fort Scott, Kansas, Can You Dig It? I'm Quentin, Off the Edges roving reporter, signing off.
All right. So was that Cyborg or was it Skyborg?
Yeah, Cyborg. You said it
Did
right.
it? Oh, okay.
Either way, really, it
Cyborg.
depends on your accent.
Canadians say Skyborg.
Probably.
Borg.
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 Cyborg. Borg.
They got to say it that way with a flip top head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, just kidding, Canadians. Love you. No, that's a freaking sick song, though. Like I said, I love the riff in that song. Yeah.
Listened to a lot of Fear Factory during that time.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that influence in that.
And the ending is kind of like, you ever listen to the band Death?
Not really. I mean, I know who you're talking about. But
Yeah.
Chuck Schuldiner.
yeah.
I used to listen to a lot of Death, so the ending is kind of something he would do.
Right on.
Speaking of Fear Factory, I never saw Fear Factory, but did you ever listen to the band Archaea?
Is that Dino's other group or something?
Yeah, it was like the drummer and the guitar player,
Yeah.
and then the bassist and singer from a band called Threat Signal.
Oh, I know the singer from Threat Signal.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but yes,
Oh yeah, my homie. No,
he's a cool dude.
I went to I think it was Kitty in Tulsa. I got to see Kitty in Tulsa, and it was the weirdest lineup because it was Kitty, Soil,
I remember Soil.
not Threat Signal, Archaea, and Straight Line Stitch. And see, I went predominantly for Straight Line Stitch and Kitty. I knew who Soil was. I didn't have any idea who Archaea was until after the show.
Mm-hmm.
But all four of them were freaking awesome. But went and saw Straight Line Stitch a year after that. And of course, at that point, the lineup had completely changed except for the bass player and the singer. But that was Quentin and Colby's first show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And that was with In This Moment. And it was in a small club
That'd
in
be
Tulsa.
cool.
And I was a big In This Moment fan because I missed them at Ozfest, their first year out. And that first album I absolutely love. I still love it to this day. Got the second album, and they were on tour for the second album. And she was one of the first people that I encountered that charged for meet and greets. Fuck this. and the bad thing is this is when she was, at this point, honestly, by the time they got to the second album, it was so much less of a metal band. They were becoming theatrical. So she had this big, she didn't have backup dancers or anything like that, because we saw them at Rocklahoma last year, and of course there was a whole production. But at this point, she had brought a podium out and stuff like that. And they were having sound issues, and she pissed and moaned about the sound the entire set.
There's nothing more entertaining than a prima donna. My monitor's not good.
That was my first experience with Rob Zombie. I saw them open for Megadeth when it was White Zombie. Mm-hmm. And he bitched about how hot it was, and they fucked up his samples, and yeah. Like, you're not impressing me, dude.
Right.
That's awkward.
But the greatest part about that show is it was White Zombie, Pantera, and then Megadeth, and this was Vulgar Display of Power tour.
Oh, nice.
And by the time
Pantera just made everyone look silly, huh?
By the time Pantera was done, I felt so bad for Megadeth to have to go on after that.
Right.
Because
they don't have the energy.
Pantera in that era, man, they just owned everybody in that. And that was Kemper. So what is it now? Verizon? Or no, not Kemper. Sandstone.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's a Verizon amphitheater now.
I think you're right.
So back then it was Sandstone.
Yeah.
They owned everybody there. And what's really cool is the Vulgar video, their second video. They have right at the end, they have a live shot of the crowd from that show, and I'm in it
somewhere.
But like a dumb motherfucker, I'm wearing black like everybody else. And so from that point on, if I go to a rock show, I'm wearing something with color on it because everybody else is wearing black.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever make it on a video, I was like, oh, I'm the red shirt dude.
I'm the dude with the neon pink hearts.
Yeah, fuck yeah. It's totally worth it. But Megadeth, honestly, they were flawless. That was back when Nick Menzo was the drummer, and
that must have been with Marty Friedman.
Marty Friedman was the guitar player.
He's insane.
Yeah, and he watching him play, man, the way he
holds a pick like he has something wrong with his arm.
Got his wrist just locked. It's
so strange.
But he's freaking awesome. The only thing that sounded different was the cleans were a little dirty. But everything else sounded like the album. I mean, it was really, really good. But still, it was hard to go on after Pantera.
Yeah. See that.
Are you guys going to see Devin Townsend and Haken in March?
Oh, yeah, I'm going. Already got my tickets.
Lawrence show?
Of course. Oh, yeah.
Cool. My brother and I will be there, too.
Tried to get opening slot for that.
I don't blame you. That would have been amazing.
I have a friend who has the tour manager's email, blah, blah, blah. And
so it might be
I sent you everything I could find.
Oh, no. He responded to me, the guy, the tour manager. He's like, no locals. That's probably pretty much all he said. He's like, sorry, man, no locals.
Did you say I'm not local?
Yeah.
I mean, that's technically true. You're right.
It's technically true.
God damn it, we're Galaxia.
We're regional.
Do you not know who we are?
Yeah.
We play in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah. We played at Canes.
The top three.
We played
right
in
now?
Bartlesville once.
Yeah, it was bad.
What about the new Rage Against the Machine tour?
Yeah, I'm need to look into that.
Yeah,
should be free, isn't
it? Should be.
I heard that they are donating all their proceeds or something in border states to.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say there's fine print there.
Yeah,
the border states.
Yeah,
everywhere else, cha-ching.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that's one of those bands, like, it's kind of a bucket list band for me in a way.
I'm on the fence about going to that one. Right now, the one I am most excited about is fucking Deftones, Gojira, and Poppy.
Poppy.
I know.
I'm just
right?
like, oh my God. That is like the craziest, most awesome lineup I have ever seen.
Are they coming anywhere near here?
Kansas City.
Where at? Kansas City?
AMC? Yeah, somewhere around.
Midland?
Well, shit, I'll look it up. Keep talking.
I've seen Deftones several times.
Are they good?
The best show I've ever seen was at Cain's, and it was when Around the Fur first came out.
Ooh.
And Deftones, it was early in their tour, and they played for almost 3 hours.
Wow.
It was fucking insane. I was like,
time.
yeah, and they only had 2 albums worth of stuff. They were playing like covers and stuff because people were just into it and they just wanted to play, I guess.
Yeah.
They played South of Heaven by Slayer.
Yeah.
That's one I remember. They played like every song that they had on each album. At one point, freaking Chino jumped on me. I could have gave him a wedgie. I decided not to, but
That's funny.
that was a super fun show. I've seen them several times after that, and I think I caught them like on the tail end of their tour, and his voice was going out a little bit. Like none of the screams were there. He was kind of making bird noises, like So it wasn't quite as cool.
Yeah.
But still, it's Deftones. If you like Deftones, you're gonna like them.
They're
Good.
one of the bands that it's like certain songs I think are horrible and certain songs I think are amazing. There's one
Yes.
song called
Yeah, I agree.
Swerve City.
Yeah.
That's like such a cool song. It's one of the coolest songs I've ever heard, really. The riff is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some of their live videos and I can't really tell if they're good or not because some of them sound really good and some of them sound pretty bad. So
Right.
Yeah.
I think musically, like all the instruments and stuff, have always been spot
yeah,
on.
I'm sure they'll be.
But just sometimes, just
He has this-
depending on how much he's overused his voice, where you
Yeah.
are in the tour, I think depends on how good the vocals are.
He has that style of voice that may not last,
Right.
The thing about his voice is, it's not so much his voice; it's his note choices, and it's almost like they stick him in a room and just see what fucking happens. Because there are directions that he goes vocally that you're like,
What?
that shouldn't work, but it does. Deftones have just always been one of those that have been like, I love it, but I don't know why.
Yeah, they're interesting.
I mean, when I got into them, I know why, because it was My Own Summer, and that was like the heaviest fucking song of the year, I mean, that's why I got into them. But
Have you guys seen Gojira live?
I have not seen them live yet.
It's one of the best live, especially metal bands. Probably the best live metal band I've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say.
That's another band I can't get into.
Yeah, I could see why. It's not something you wouldn't really like. I can tell.
They're not something I like listen to a lot, but every time they put out something, I'm like, I gotta listen to what these guys are doing.
Like
They're neat.
best metal band I've seen live, and it's probably cheesy, was probably Judas Priest.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I want to say, God, it was like when they released their Notre Dameist concept album.
Like 07, 08.
It was 07 or 08 because it was my dad
09.
took me to that concert because Steven and Wes were there, friends of ours.
Yeah.
the best I've seen, and what kills me about it is that I was not into them at the time, so I didn't pay as much attention as I should have. And it was fucking Lamb of God, and they were
Yeah, I've seen them a few times.
amazing.
I've seen them 4 times. Yeah, they're fun.
I mean, you have to be in the mood for that kind of vocal, but musically, I got. Yeah, back when it was Chris Adler, shit, I could listen to that dude drum all day long.
I mean, like,
He's a machine.
what about like your favorite band you've seen live? What one disappointed you the most seeing them live?
You know what I'm gonna say, right? You were there.
Obscura?
No, Iced Earth.
Oh, Iced Earth was terrible. But surprisingly, the second time I seen Rush was a huge disappointment.
Is that the Be Okay?
Yeah, to be okay.
Because I ran some out for this band. They're called Reverse Reaction, killer cover band, actually, by the way. So shout out to those guys if for some reason they're listening.
Right.
I don't think
They
they know any
will.
of you guys, but
They will.
anyway,
Maybe.
he said the same thing. He said one of the times you saw Rush at the Be Okay was really bad.
like
He said it's the only time he got to see him too.
it was awful. I mean, me and Dad had seen Rush so many times before them, but it sounded like shit.
That sucks.
So was it sound, or was it just them
Like-
having an off night?
I think it was the mixing. Everything sounded off. The vocals were way too loud. The drums weren't loud enough. The bass, surprisingly, was too loud. You couldn't hear Alex Lifeson's guitar at all the entire time.
Yeah, that's got to
Wow.
be a mixing issue, of course. But
That is
when you get that many
disappointing,
people
though.
in an arena,
I mean,
things change. It's
Yeah,
probably so
it's
much harder
obviously
than you
a
think.
huge venue to mix sound in.
Yeah, but you got to figure they have their own guy.
It's,
You
yeah,
know, I
you've-
mean,
they must have had something.
maybe he
go
was sick
drastically
that
wrong.
night, and
I don't know. And
they had the
it's-
intern doing it.
It's funny though because they played "Where Are My Things," which is a song Galaxia has covered before,
Yeah.
and they messed that song up.
That's funny.
You know, honestly though, I think the bands that write their own songs are more apt to mess them up than somebody who's trying to cover it.
Yeah.
Someone's just
Somebody-
dissecting it way hard and
Well,
trying
but
to
somebody
perfect all the
who's
things.
covering it is trying to
Focus on it.
deliver
Yeah,
what people experience from an album, and you know that doesn't take into account the headspace of the person when they wrote it. You know, I mean and you know I mess up all the time.
Oh, I mess up almost every time we play.
I never mess up. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
This is true. He's
When
a
you guys should
machine.
see what I'm
shoot.
supposed to be playing versus what I actually play. It's ridiculous.
You guys cover it very, very well. Then
Oh.
I think there was one time I think BJ did something, and maybe you just like missed an eighth note or something so minor, and the only reason I caught it is because you just looked over to Dylan and started laughing like you goofing off, you know.
I know that's the best part about it is if one of us messes up, it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just
Yeah,
we
That's just
we
playing
screwed
live.
up.
Well, and that's the best thing
It
about
didn't
being
stop the song, or you know.
Yeah, that's the best thing about being a musician, whether you're on stage or in the audience. If somebody messes up and you're in the audience, you can tell.
Yeah.
Not necessarily from them actually messing up, but the interaction that the band has afterwards.
This kind of
Because somebody is going to be like,
look at the drummer when he misses the upbeat or something.
yeah,
Right.
and then like, oh, I totally messed up during that. I said, well, I saw you look, you know, but I didn't
I
hear
don't know.
it.
Anytime
you know?
one of us messes up, I always try to play it off as a joke because to me it's funny because we're having fun and
Yeah.
mistakes happen.
Yeah.
I think
So-
you got to be that way.
Well, and I think after you do it so long, you realize that most people don't.
Most people out there
Don't
have
know.
no idea what's going on
No.
musically,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Most of the time you're playing in a small venue, you can't hear anything anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So they're just like, wall of noise. I'm gonna smile though.
yeah. So just play it off. Like I just go out there and I have fun.
Yeah.
And if I mess up, that's great. Move around, act goofy, and then
Yeah.
keep going. So
Yeah, it's very rare that you see a real train wreck nowadays.
yeah.
I think.
Oh,
I
I've
think,
seen one that I can think of.
I've,
a local
I've seen
band.
them.
I've seen one local band that had huge train wreck. I'm pretty sure the drummer was on meth or something. It was weird.
When was
Wow.
this?
It was the time we played at First Shop with Edge of Zephyr. I'm not gonna say the band name, of course, but
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
it was awkward.
Yeah.
I just
I-
remember him playing drums like I've never seen anybody play the drums before.
I remember that
was so weird.
particular person though,
So weird.
already drunk before he got there, drinking several dozen more beers before he went on. So
I think it was fun though. Is every now and then, I wouldn't call this a train wreck, but somebody just their wires cross, and so it's like, hey, we're gonna play this song, and you start the song, and one guy plays a completely different fucking song.
I don't think that's ever happened.
And we've
Luckily.
been there in practice. I don't think we've ever done that live, but
Yeah.
we've been there. Oh
I
shit, I
bet-
forgot how that goes.
I've been there sometimes just because on a normal day I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and we'll practice. You know, on a practice day we practice late, and it might be 11 o'clock at night, and I'm just exhausted by
Yeah,
then. You know,
definitely.
just not my mind isn't in the right space anymore. But
What's that sound?
We're gonna have drags.
oh, no.
Sounds like somebody on a Harley, making sure it's running.
It's Wednesday night drags.
Independence, Kansas.
In the headphones, it sounds like an Indian drum beating, but I'm pretty sure it's just a heater or something.
I turn the heater off. That's a Harley.
Okay.
Gotta love it. Well, shoot, guys, it's getting past 9:00 here. Anything to add? Any last words here before
Got
we wrap
something
it
coming
up?
up? Anything?
Do we have anything coming up? I mean,
I'm
we pretty
oh,
much don't know what's going on until like pretty much the weekend before. So
We had a show offer, but we had to turn it down. Unfortunately, kind of bummed about that. But you guys know who the band Source is?
I've heard the name, but I don't think I've heard them.
We had a chance to open for them, but we're not going to be able to. But
yeah, scheduling conflicts
so
and all that.
that's
but
not going to happen. But
It's kind of the
no,
off
we don't
season
have
right now.
we don't have a single show lined up actually at the moment.
No, I mean it's kind of
Slow time of year.
it's slow time of year. It's cold.
Yeah.
I really don't want to go out and play shows. The weather's awful. I'd rather
Right.
wait till springtime so I can actually go out and enjoy it. So
Right.
Other than that, yeah, probably two EPs this year to be released.
That's exciting.
yeah, there's plenty more Galaxia coming up once the weather is not awful. So
Those are prolific motherfuckers.
They're like rabbits.
Well, yeah. Other than that, any other questions?
yeah. Any extremely personal questions you'd like to know?
Oh, I have a question for you.
Boxer or briefs?
I have a question for you too.
Because the ladies want to know.
No, what's it? Boxers, if you must know.
Yeah.
I guess I think they're boxers.
What's
Gotta
your
let the boys breathe.
I think they're boxers.
What's two of your favorite movies and two of your least favorite movies?
Two of my favorite movies and two of my least favorite movies. Two favorite movies, Fight Club. That's all-time favorite. And giving a second is tough. I'm going to go with slightly more kid-friendly, and we'll go with Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that's one of mine.
Yeah. Least favorite, Fargo.
Oh, come on, man.
I hated Fargo.
It's a great movie.
I hated Fargo.
My wife hates it too.
And The Fountain.
I've been wanting to see that. I haven't seen it.
Don't.
All right. What's yours, BJ?
What's yours, Zach? Let's say.
Oh man. Why don't you go? I'm still thinking about mine. You go ahead and tell me yours.
Okay, two of my favorite movies would be No Country for Old Men and
That's a good one.
I didn't think I was gonna be asked. I was going to ask them. But, so,
Either way, we all have
I
to
guess-
know, so.
for some reason, the first one that comes to my mind would be Shawshank.
Good choice.
Redemption.
Yeah, good
And then
choice.
two of my least favorites. That stupid movie, October Sky.
That movie's so terrible.
I
I
hate
think we
that
watched that in
stupid
school.
movie.
It's
God,
inspirational.
God, that movie's awful.
Okay, also, this sounds really downer, but I don't like inspirational movies for the most part. I don't know why.
They're lame because they're not inspirational.
And I don't like
that's why.
I don't like sports movies either. Even though I love basketball and football, I hate
Like
sports
Rudy.
movies.
God, that movie's terrible.
I hate it.
Oh, baseball movies. I love baseball movies.
See, I hate baseball.
Baseball's so lame.
Here's one that I hate. The one with Tom Hanks.
A League of Their Own?
I hate it.
No.
Oh my
that
God,
movie's-
that's so good.
I hate that
I'm gonna have to
movie.
agree with you, BJ. That movie is awful.
So good.
I hate it. I don't know why.
Ugh.
What about you, Zach?
I love baseball though.
Man, I'm having a hard time. I have to say one of my favorite movies, just because it's so out there and weird, is Lost Highway.
That's an interesting movie.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's
just
a-
because
That's such a strange
It's the
movie.
best.
is.
It's the best David Lynch movie. Period.
I've got.
That's not saying much
Period.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I'd say Blue Velvet.
No,
I don't know. If it was me,
Blue
I'd say
Velvet's
Naked
good.
Lunch is probably one of my favorite David Lynch movies.
I never saw that.
That movie's so fucking weird.
I don't know. It's hard to top Lost Highway. As far
Lost
as
Highway
weird
is really intriguing. It doesn't make any sense, but it does at the same time. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
goes.
How the guy just changes.
Well, my favorite part of that movie
I've
is
got a-
that
I've got a
introduced
theory.
me. That movie introduced me to Rammstein in the best possible fucking way. You got the fucking lightning going with the weird angles, and he's walking down a highway, and it's holy shit.
That movie has rant. I thought you were gonna say David Bowie because I know it has David Bowie's song in it.
Yeah.
That's a strange movie.
Shoot, it's hard to pick a second one. There's so many. Maybe like a Tarantino movie, maybe like Pulp Fiction, maybe.
Yeah.
Or
Good
there's tons of cheesy sci-fi movies and stuff that are things like that I love though. So
Yeah,
it's hard, but
you know, and now you bring up Tarantino. I mean, that totally changes everything. I mean, honestly, Empire Strikes Back is probably good to be kid friendly, but
yeah,
Tarantino didn't direct. Tony Scott directed True Romance, but
That's a good one.
Tarantino wrote that one, and that's my favorite Tarantino flick. Period.
right on.
That's a good one.
Altogether. I mean, man. Gary Oldman in that movie.
Gary
and-
Oldman's a beast.
and
He's
Christopher
good.
Walken.
and Christopher Walken
Yeah.
and Dennis Hopper.
Yeah,
it's just.
man, that's great.
But out of that entire cast, the best role in that was fucking Brad Pitt,
The stoner on the
the
couch.
stoner on the couch, Floyd. He was fucking incredible.
That was before he was a big name actor, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, James Gandolfini was in it. Man, I fucking hated him. Just hated him in that movie. God, just that movie was perfect.
What are some of your least favorite movies?
Man, I want to say just like any kind of like Hallmark kind of thing. Any kind of like pick two random Hallmark
Yeah.
movies. So I'm going to say those
That's
are my
pretty
least
fair.
favorite.
Any Hallmark movies?
Yeah,
If it's on Lifetime,
Yeah.
forget it.
Lifetime. I just saw a Lifetime movie the other day. Horrible. Very predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful.
What about you? What are some of your favorites and least?
I'd say two of my favorites are. You said Empire Strikes Back, and that's definitely up there. One of my favorites. And other than that, maybe Letters from Iwo Jima. It's a
I never saw
it's a
that.
World War II flick.
Yeah,
That's
that was a good movie.
that's probably up there. As far as least favorites,
it's hard.
any Steven Seagal movie's pretty bad. I mean,
Come on, man. Marked for Death. Got the school face.
I'm trying to think of popular movies that are just awful. When, like you said, October Skies, or that's just such a horrible movie.
But people it's a beloved
and
movie.
I don't understand why people like that movie so much.
How about all right? Here's a worse movie: Quigley Down Under with Tom Selleck.
I wouldn't go so
I've
far
never
as to
seen
say
that.
that's horrible.
Dude,
haven't
I
seen
thought
it.
that was the most boring piece of crap movie ever. It
Oh,
was
you
so
want a boring piece of crap Western? And I hate to say it because I fucking love Clint Eastwood, but the Unforgiven.
Forgiven. Oh my
Unforgiven,
God,
yeah.
yes.
Ah, it's
So boring.
Snooze fest.
Dude, I've been telling people that forever. It's so boring.
Okay, so segueing into Westerns. Best Western.
I hate the hotel, man.
Dune's
I
the
like,
best Western.
Huh?
Dune.
Dune.
Yes. Period. That's
I'm gonna say No Country for Old Men.
I changed my vote for Empire Strikes Back to Dune. That's probably one of my favorite movies.
And
That's
that
a
is a
neat one.
top tier David Lynch movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, that is a
that's-
David
yeah.
Lynch.
It has Captain Picard in it, right? I mean, that's pretty much good enough right there.
I like.
Yeah, Sting.
Are you guys
Yeah.
psyched for the reboot or for the?
I
new
am.
one?
I'm kind of up in the air in it because they could
never know
ruin it
about
so
those.
fast,
have
kind of
high
like what they
hopes.
did with Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, I think that they're hopefully, from what I'm hearing, they're really sticking more to the novel.
Well, that's what they said about Star Wars, and then,
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
I saw the new Star Wars 3 times, and I'm still
haven't seen
not,
it yet.
Still not impressed.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but after The Last Jedi, I was willing to enjoy just about anything.
I mean, The Last Jedi was such a, God, it was. I don't want to be overly dramatic, but I mean, it was such a travesty.
Travesty.
It was
Good God.
for two reasons. Okay, one, I can forgive The Last Jedi if you just take out the Leia floating through space scene.
That was so fucking stupid.
That was really stupid.
It was. I can forgive the rest of it, but if I move on and critique it from there, it's the worst fucking story in the world.
I know it.
I'm gonna stay 25 feet in front of the super Star Destroyer because I'm just that much faster.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. That's never been an issue in any Star Wars movie ever.
It was so bad. It was so bad. I mean, now granted, Last Jedi actually defined the physics of space in Star
did,
Wars because
but-
it had never been defined before.
Let's be honest here. There's a magic force that can move things around and destroy, so they can just blow up entire planets.
The one thing that would have saved that entire thing is she got blasted out into space
And she would have
and
died.
she reached out with her mind and had them come get him. Had them come get her.
That would have made more
Yeah.
sense.
Yes. I mean, it's just like Luke reaching out to her in Empire.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
Exactly. That would have made way more sense.
There was no precedent for her to fly through space.
Yeah. I mean,
And I love Leia.
the only good part about that movie.
I share a birthday with Carrie Fisher.
That's amazing.
It cuts me to the core.
I mean, the best part of that movie was when when Admiral Hodo hyperspace rammed that Super Star Destroyer.
Yes, and that should have been Leia.
Yeah.
Yes.
That should have been
should
Leia
have
right
been
there
Leia.
and done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, the movie was it was Phantom Menace at best.
Phantom Menace was
Wow.
better. Phantom Menace was
No,
better.
it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't even
it
remotely
wasn't.
close to better.
Oh, it was better.
I don't know.
It was better.
Well,
Last
we
Jedi.
can spend 6 hours
Last
debating this
Jedi
if
was
you want,
2.5
but I mean-
hours of pointlessness.
You've seen Rise of Skywalker?
Oh yeah.
What do you think of it?
I enjoyed it, but like I said, after the Last
Here's
Jedi,
my biggest critique of that movie, though. Critique.
I haven't seen it yet. No spoilers.
Anyways, I'm going to tell you anyways.
No spoilers.
Anyways, Kylo Ren takes a normal TIE fighter back to Exegol. Everyone knows normal TIE fighters don't have hyperdrives. How did he get there?
yeah.
I'm going to go that far into it.
This discussion have with Zach for sure.
See, this is why Zach should have been here. Because he would have known in a normal Imperial TIE fighter from
But-
30 years ago did not have a hyperdrive.
that's a first order TIE fighter.
No, it wasn't. It was he took it from the wreckage of the second Death Star.
Oh shit, you're right.
Exactly.
I was just trying to punch a hole in your theory.
No, there is no hole in the theory. I know. I've analyzed it.
So
All right.
So my favorite part, and it was because I called it. So originally, the episode of The Mandalorian that came out right before The Rise of Skywalker was originally scheduled to come out after The Rise of Skywalker. They were just going to skip that week
Really?
because the normal day that it came out was Friday, and that's when the movie was coming out.
Yeah.
But I had a theory because they announced that week that it was coming out on Wednesday. I think it came out on Wednesday.
Came out.
Yeah. And so then I watched the episode, and all of a sudden, Baby Yoda healed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's going to be in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Right.
They had to make a precedent for it to be in the movie.
I mean that.
And I was like,
I mean that whole thing has always been in the Star Wars, like canon in the books and all that. If you read the
Right.
books, so that's like nothing new to Star Wars. So
but it is to the casual user or to casual
Yeah,
watcher.
I liked having
And
that
especially
in the
now
movie,
that
though.
it's not, now that all that legend stuff is not technically canon. You know, you didn't know where they were going to go with it.
what do you think of the Mandalorian as a series itself?
I haven't
thought
seen it yet.
I thought it was great, but everybody thought it was great. And what cracked me up is that was nothing really went on. I mean, there was nothing special about that show except for the fact that it was a simple story and that they weren't trying to convolute it with a bunch of Force lore or some stuff.
Exactly.
That sounds like
That's what
something I
like
would love
about
to see.
it.
It. Yeah.
It's just simple and fun Star
Yeah,
Wars.
it's a Star Wars Western.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what my girlfriend said. It's like if I wouldn't have told her it was Star Wars, she wouldn't have known it was Star Wars.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is good, I think, because that will draw more people into the whole lore of Star Wars. So
And really, I did. I loved it from episode 1 to the end. But somewhere in the middle, I was like, there's
the middle part
really
of it-
nothing going on here.
the middle part of it's kind of like, this is just kind of filler episode. So
Well, and like the second episode was shorter than the first episode, and the third episode was longer. And I mean, yeah,
I didn't like
they
the
just kind of
episode
chopped it
length,
up to
but towards the
fill
end.
out
I
a
mean,
season.
I really enjoyed it towards the end.
Yeah,
So
no,
like
it
the
was
whole
good.
heist of the prison ship. That was probably one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, no, it was good.
How hard did you want to murder those two scout troopers?
Yeah, fuck those guys.
No spoilers. I haven't seen it.
All right. You'll know what we're talking about
Yeah.
when you see it, though.
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so you can't be in this because you haven't watched all of it. But rank Star Wars episodes 1 through 9.
Okay.
Your favorites. Start
guess-
from least favorite.
Oh God. Okay. Attack of the Clones.
Really?
I mean, it's so fucking terrible. I mean, let's be honest here.
Is that the one where Yoda's bouncing around?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That one's bad.
Phantom Menace. I'd say Revenge of the Sith, or it's not terrible. Hmm. Rise of Skywalker. What's the Force Awakens, Last Jedi.
Got The Last Jedi way up there.
Yeah, I mean the
You
Force
think The
Awakens.
Force Awakens is worse than Last Jedi?
Yeah,
I would agree with that. I'd agree with that too.
and then probably the original trilogy, the original trilogy in the order that they came out with: New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
So you put Jedi at the top.
Jedi's the top.
Zach?
Oh man, I don't even want to do
Oh,
this.
wait.
I don't
You're
know.
missing two.
Yeah, you are missing two. You got to
Well,
add
I
in
guess-
Solo.
well-
Solo, Rogue, and Rogue One.
Yeah, I forgot about those. I mean,
Rogue
out,
One's great.
out of the two of them, I'd say Rogue One's better. Solo, I was not impressed with it. It kind of ruined Han Solo for me.
You sound like my wife.
Really?
I mean, it made him seem like a good guy. In like all the books I'd read, he's always been, more or less like a scumbag.
Okay,
A
well,
criminal.
and that's a good take because I haven't read a lot of Star
like-
Wars.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And like in all the books I've read, he's always been a criminal. He's always been a smuggler, always doing, crimes or whatever. So
Future
Now-
crimes.
yeah, future crimes. But that movie kind of portrayed him as a good guy who, at the very end, be like, "Oh, I'm a bad guy," and then shoots one person. It's like, "Oh, now I'm Han Solo."
He's trying to be a bad
Yeah,
guy.
trying to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take on it.
Yeah.
I think that's very valid stance.
I mean, I can understand why they made it like that for like the mass market, but as like a Star Wars fan, it doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie. Yeah, there were stormtroopers and TIE fighters, but it's not really a Star Wars movie.
I guess I'm probably a look at that movie a little different now after hearing you say that. Because I liked it just because it was like a fun, high flying adventure movie more so than we've kind of gotten lately out of the franchise.
Yeah.
But
That's why I liked it too.
yeah, Rogue One was so intense and like serious and like kind of edge of your seat.
Yeah, I mean-
Sometimes like I really liked that one too.
Yeah, me too. That was
For-
great.
Yeah,
I'd define Rogue One as the adult Star Wars,
Yeah, it's like
Right.
the Saving
And
Private Ryan of
Solo
Star Wars.
as
That's what I
Right.
thought.
as a return to the adventure Star Wars.
I mean, that's another thing about the Rise of Skywalker. I mean, it was so fast paced in the beginning, so fast paced, which I really liked.
they
but
fit a lot of stuff in that movie.
well,
I know.
because I think a lot of the stuff that was in that movie should have been in the second
Yeah.
movie.
That whole last trilogy, if they would have just had
A
The
plan
end-
from the get go.
if they had the end in mind when they started, and would have been a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
lot better.
other than the legacy characters, I liked Rey. Towards the end, I liked where they were going with Kylo Ren, but for the most part, I didn't give a shit about any of them.
No, Kylo Ren is probably one of my least favorite Star Wars characters because he's just whiny.
Dude,
Yeah,
for
he's a little
the
too
Force,
whiny.
the Force Awakens, he was a whiny bitch.
I mean,
That was one of the
You don't-
redeeming things I got from The Last Jedi is because his arc was slightly more interesting.
it was more interesting, but it's like that. It was a last minute thing to try to redeem the character.
They just went in with the trilogy. Hey, we just spent $4 billion on Star Wars, and now we need to put out a trilogy. And
It's
hey,
just-
guys, come up with a story. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's
really
just-
what it
shit
boiled down
something
to.
out.
It's
Yeah.
just the acting of those two characters. Just they couldn't like I guess capture my attention.
Yeah,
It was funny
It's
because
just so bland.
I thought Kylo Ren was terrible in The Force Awakens, but Rey was really good.
Rey was good in The Force Awakens.
And
not
then you
s-
get to The Last Jedi, and Kylo Ren was getting better, but I thought Rey's performance through the whole thing was just like really wooden.
yeah.
And then at the end, I wanted a good, not necessarily good, but a satisfying conclusion to all of this. So I'm pretty much at this point willing to accept anything that isn't a super Star Destroyer chasing a fucking.
I mean, at that point, I mean, I would have loved a super Star Destroyer chasing the Millennium Falcon, but the acting feels like somebody described Star Wars to someone and told them to act that way.
That's a pretty fair assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Daisy Ridley's performance in Rise of Skywalker. I thought she was very, I don't know. She was emoting. It felt believable to me.
Like
I'm not saying that the writing is great, but I think her performance is really good
and I
as an
agree with that.
actress.
And I think it goes back to you lower our expectations enough that
anything's going to be good.
it's going to be better.
Yeah.
And I think we accepted a lot.
Like-
I don't think Palpatine was ever the big. A lot of them were saying, "Oh yeah, Palpatine was gonna."
Yeah.
He was our plan from the beginning. Bullshit.
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 They ran out of ideas.
No.
It's like, oh well, we'll bring back someone. We'll bring someone everyone knows.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, the beginning of it, when they bring him back, it gives a whole new feel to Star Wars, that almost scary kind of feel.
Yeah.
But after that, it just doesn't feel like Star Wars.
Yeah. I don't know. I think out of everything post Disney, that the one, even as much as I like Solo, the one that captured Star Wars the most was Rogue One. And
Exactly.
And I think that was a brilliant film.
Agreed.
That hero versus the evil force. I mean,
And
that's what Star Wars is about.
and it sidestepped all the conventions of the original trilogy. The Force wasn't a big deal. Yeah, they talked about it.
Yeah, but I mean,
it wasn't a contributing factor to anything.
Like
that
A New
happened.
Hope. I mean, yeah, they talked about like you said, they talked about the Force, but no one was, doing these crazy lightsaber battles or flipping all over the place and using all these Force powers. They were sword fighting in a tiny hallway.
Yeah.
And it was kind of lame.
Have you seen the guy that went in and re-edited?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it is awesome. And they didn't
was
overdo
it?
it, which I liked.
There is a reimagining of the Obi-Wan Vader fight from A New Hope. That a guy went in, and I mean they're like stand-ins, and but it all fits into that original film.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Cool. I'll check that
That's
out.
neat.
Did you guys ever see that Freddie Prinze Jr. rant about Star Wars?
I heard
I
about it,
don't
but I
think
don't think
so.
I ever watched it.
'Cause, yeah,
Is
he
that the
vo-
guy from Scooby Doo?
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, he
but
voiced
he was
Kanan, he voiced one of the characters in one of the cartoons.
Oh, okay.
And so he was like, so and so told me directly, George Lucas's vision was always this, and what they're doing with these movies, the latest trilogy is not Star Wars at all. And he's just like screaming about it. He's like, you're ready to throw stuff. He's like, it's bullshit, It's kind of funny.
Did you watch any of the animated stuff? Clone
Like
Wars.
Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
I thought Clone Wars was brilliant, and we're getting a new season.
I know.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
Ahsoka Tano is my absolute favorite
I mean,
character. period.
Ahsoka Tano was in Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her voice.
Like a voiceover section, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. That's my favorite character in all of Star Wars.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean,
It really
that
is.
right there could make an amazing movie just following
Yeah.
some story about that.
Probably will.
Right.
Oh, dude, man, that one episode at the season finale of Rebels when she went head to head with Vader and realized it was Anakin, and I was, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
I was having a moment.
That one 30-minute cartoon episode embodied Star Wars more than the last 10 years of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's kind of
That was amazing.
There are two possible candidates for a live action. Rosario Dawson put her name in the hat, and they've done some fan art of her as an adult Ahsoka Tano.
That'd be interesting.
It was amazing. But
I know they're supposed to be making a Cassian Andor
yes,
live
a
action
prequel
series
to Rogue One. Yeah,
and a Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mhm.
So
and Ewan McGregor's on board.
yeah, So that'd be really interesting.
Which that really is huge because
I mean, he's a big name actor. I mean,
but you know, people get in an uproar when anybody gets recast. I mean, look how they treated the dude who did Solo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But everybody just embraced Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. And
he's the perfect embodiment of Obi-Wan Kenobi, so.
Well, and he has lineages because his uncle was Wedge.
Well, I know. And they brought back Wedge Antilles in Rise of Skywalker.
Which they wanted to bring him back earlier in the series, and he didn't want to do it.
I mean, that's like, and you bring back old characters like in Rogue One. They brought back like Gold
Old
Leader
footage.
and Yellow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which
it's like
was
I was like,
amazing.
I felt like I was the only one that noticed that when I first saw it. I was like, oh shit, that's Gold Leader.
But you know, they have that one scene in Rogue One where they're running out of the hangar and over the intercom. It's like General Syndulla. It's like a call to rebels, and I'm like, oh my god. Yeah. So we're geeking out here right now.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
I mean,
DJ's just like, God.
like we could spend an entire podcast talking about just like Rogue
You
One.
guys are lame.
I geek out on other things for sure, but not Star Wars, to be honest. If this was like Breaking Bad or something, I could geek out on that.
You know, if Zach Lum was here too, then BJ would have left by now.
Oh yeah, you guys have been talking about this a long time ago.
me and Zach would have been talking about this until like 4 a.m. So
Yep.
Well, I tell you what, guys, it's been a pleasure to have you all here.
Yeah, it was fun.
I appreciate you
very
coming
fun.
in the nasty weather
Yeah.
over to speak with us. And really looking forward to your new music you
Thanks.
put out. And we're going to enjoy what you have put out in the meantime. So the band is Galaxia. Thanks to Dylan, BJ. And we'll see you all later.
Give us some links real quick.
Yeah.
Links.
Like, where can people find
Oh
you
yeah.
online?
like the full length, the HTTP.
That's what I'm thinking too.
S://
Bandcamp, of course. So if you go into Bandcamp and type in Galaxia, you should find us. YouTube.
/Galaxia.
No, I don't think it's it.
I don't think it's
But
slash either.
you can just type in Galaxia,
Get some Spanish cover bands.
and then you'll scroll through a few things, and you'll find us. And Facebook, of course.
Yeah. Oh, MySpace.
No.
No.
No MySpace. That's it. Just those three. Oh yeah, we're on Spotify actually as well. I forgot.
Oh, we're on Spotify now.
Yeah, because I went.
Oh,
with
you
the
finally
whole,
went and did that?
Whatever that DistroKid or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I don't like the process of that.
I'll be sure to throw some links up too. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And before we go, I wanted to add 2 movies you guys should check out if you haven't seen it. The late 90s movie with Hugo Weaving. It's called The Interview.
Okay.
You guys seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Check it out. And then the other one is early 2000s called The Mothman Prophecies.
I've seen
Yes.
that.
Yes.
That's super interesting
Yeah,
movie.
it's very
It
interesting.
is. It is good.
Right on.
And there's no gerbils.
Yeah. Also, the Titanic was an inside job.
Yes. Dylan's very adamant about that.
It's a fact.
Oh, speaking of Titanic, my wife just did a. Sorry, I know we're supposed to be ending this, but
No,
she
that's
does
okay.
like
You go for it.
she tries to do as many extras for movies if she can, and she got cast in this movie with what's his name, the guy that plays the fiance and Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
Billy
Oh.
Zane. She was in a movie with him, and he's like teaching her how to do karate in the movie or something like that.
Oh,
That's
pretty
awesome.
funny.
Rad.
that's funny.
That's pretty funny.
We're gonna have to get you and her back at some point. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Plug her book, too.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's called Chess Master. It's a fantasy novel that my wife wrote, and it's on Amazon, or if you can talk to me or her, and we'll get you a copy.
All right. Awesome. I just got one. I'm going to read it.
I've already
read it.
Oh, Matt's. Maybe next time Matt will give a review.
Okay.
Yeah, if you like stuff
I'll
like
give you a review right now. It's good.
Lord of the
Nice.
Rings and
I agree. I enjoyed it.
what was the other one that's similar to
The Bible.
that? Yeah, maybe.
There are religious.
Oh, definitely.
Connections,
What's the other
yeah,
one that's Chronicles of Narnia?
Yeah.
Chronicles of Narnia.
Chronicles of Narnia,
I
Lord of the
love-
Rings.
Epic fantasy is mine.
Yeah,
So,
there you go. And if you like power metal, so
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
All right.
all right, cool.
Shout out to Annie. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.
See you.
Thank you.
My deodorant's wearing out.